Welcome to Timeless Wisdom, where we uncover the treasures of knowledge found within sacred texts.
Right.
And today, we are going on a journey to the heart of the Quran, specifically Surah Al-Baqarah, the second and longest chapter.
Oh, wow.
You might be surprised to learn that this chapter, revealed in Medina, speaks to a yearning that echoes in every human heart, the desire for a blissful afterlife.
It's fascinating how Surah Al-Baqarah, while addressing a vast array of life's aspects, offers such a vivid and detailed picture of paradise.
Right. I mean, verse 25 starts by painting this incredibly alluring scene, promising believers who do good deeds, gardens from beneath which rivers flow. It's an image of pure tranquility and abundance.
And that imagery is only the beginning.
Yeah.
The Quran actually uses the plural gardens, which many scholars interpret as a hint towards the multi-layered nature of paradise.
Okay.
Each level with its own unique blessings and beauty represents a higher state of bliss. This idea is further reinforced in 17.21, where the Quran talks about the next world having higher ranks and greater favors.
So it's not just about one garden, but multiple levels, each more incredible than the last.
Right.
That adds such a depth to the concept of paradise, doesn't it? It's like an intricate tapestry, woven with layers of reward and spiritual elevation.
Each title painting a picture of unimaginable beauty and serenity.
It's truly captivating.
Yeah.
And the names themselves evoke a sense of peace and joy. It makes you wonder, what could these gardens be like?
Yeah.
What kind of experience awaits those who reach those higher levels?
Well, one name that stands out is Al-Firdaus, often described as one of the highest levels of paradise.
Okay.
Islamic scholars believe that this garden holds a special significance, a privilege reserved for those who have reached the pinnacle of spiritual purity.
Right.
It's described as a place where believers can experience the ultimate closeness to God.
That's a powerful thought, to be in the very presence of the divine. But going back to verse 25, it also describes fruits and provisions being served.
Right.
It's interesting how the Quran uses these familiar earthly images to depict something so grand and otherworldly.
That's a very astute observation.
Thanks.
You see, the Quran often uses metaphors and similes that resonate with our human experience to make abstract concepts more accessible. By using images of gardens, rivers, and fruits, it allows us to connect with the idea of paradise on a visceral level,
Right.
even if the true reality is far beyond our comprehension.
So it's like a glimpse, a taste of what's to come, but the full experience is something we can't even begin to fathom in our current state.
Precisely.
Wow.
And the verse doesn't just stop at mentioning these delights. It goes on to emphasize that the enjoyment we experience in paradise goes beyond the basic need for sustenance.
Okay.
The Quran, in 32.17, hints at joy kept hidden in store as a reward for our actions,
Interesting.
suggesting that the pleasures of paradise are on an entirely different scale than anything we know here.
So it's not just about fulfilling our physical needs, it's about experiencing pure joy and fulfillment on a spiritual level.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
And what's truly remarkable is that these pleasures aren't fleeting or temporary like they are in this world. They're eternal, everlasting, and beyond comparison to anything we experience in our earthly lives.
Now, can you imagine the sensory experience of paradise? Picture yourself walking through these lush gardens surrounded by vibrant greenery. The air is filled with the sweet fragrance of exotic fruits, unlike anything you've ever smelled before. And the taste, well, that's beyond any earthly comparison.
And here's another fascinating detail that the Quran highlights about the fruits of paradise. They come to you at your desire. No need to plant, cultivate, or even reach out to pick them.
Real?
You simply wish for a fruit and it appears before you.
Wow.
It's such a stark contrast to our earthly experience where we have to put in effort and toil to obtain even the simplest of pleasures.
That's right. The Quran explicitly mentions in verse 25 that these fruits will resemble the fruits of earth. Why do you think it makes that comparison? It's almost as if it's trying to bridge the gap between the familiar and the unimaginable.
I believe it's a way to offer comfort and recognition.
Okay.
By using imagery that we can relate to, the Quran makes the concept of paradise feel both inviting and comprehensible. It's like saying, yes, it's beyond anything you can imagine, but it's also built upon the foundation of beauty and abundance that you already know and cherish.
That's such a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
And speaking of experiencing these delights, the Quran also points out another interesting difference between earthly food and the food of paradise. There's no waste, no feeling full or heavy. You can enjoy these blessings without any of the limitations we experience in our physical bodies.
Exactly.
Wow.
It speaks to the purity and perfection of the experience. It's a state of pure enjoyment, free from any kind of burden or discomfort.
Right.
Everything in paradise is designed for our ultimate pleasure and fulfillment.
It's absolutely mind-blowing. But verse 25 doesn't stop at describing the physical delights of paradise.
Right.
It also promises something even more profound: pure spouses. I'm curious, what exactly does that mean?
That's a great question, and one that requires us to delve a little deeper into the nature of relationships in paradise. The concept of pure spouses in paradise is often misunderstood. It's not just about physical beauty or romantic love as we understand it on Earth. It's about a much deeper connection, a state of perfect harmony and understanding that transcends any earthly relationship.
So it's a different kind of love, purified from the conflicts and complexities that we often experience in our relationships here.
Precisely. Remember, paradise is a realm free from negativity, pain, and suffering. Even the relationships there are elevated to a level of pure bliss and contentment. In fact, the Quran hints at this in 15.47, where it describes the inhabitants of paradise as brothers sitting on couches face to face, with all bitterness removed from their hearts.
That's a beautiful image, a sense of unity and brotherhood that surpasses any earthly bond. It makes you reflect on how often our relationships here are tested by jealousy, misunderstandings, and the inevitable challenges of life.
It's true, even in the most loving relationships, we encounter friction and conflict. But the Quran's description of pure spouses points towards a reality where such difficulties simply don't exist. It's a vision of perfect companionship, a bond built on mutual respect, understanding, and a shared experience of eternal joy.
It's a truly comforting thought, especially when we consider the complexities and heartbreaks that we often face in our earthly relationships.
Absolutely, and this promise of perfect companionship is further amplified by the most powerful and perhaps awe-inspiring aspect of paradise. Its eternal nature, verse 25, culminates with the words, "and live in paradise forever." This concept of eternal life has resonated with humanity for centuries, transcending cultural and religious boundaries.
It's a concept that sparks so much wonder and even a bit of awe, isn't it? The idea of a life without end, a state of perpetual bliss and fulfillment. It's something that our finite minds struggle to truly grasp.
It is, but that's part of what makes it so powerful. The Quran doesn't attempt to explain the mechanics of eternal life in scientific terms. Instead, it focuses on conveying the experiential reality of paradise. It speaks of unending joy, perfect peace, and the complete absence of death, decay, or any form of suffering.
It's a message of hope that resonates deeply, especially in a world that often feels filled with uncertainty, loss, and the constant shadow of our own mortality. But what does this concept of eternal life, of striving for paradise, mean for us in our present lives?
That's a question at the heart of Islamic teachings. The Quran doesn't present paradise as a passive reward, something we simply receive after death. It's described as something we actively work towards, a destination we strive to reach through our actions, intentions, and choices in this life.
So it's about living a life that reflects the values and principles that are embodied in paradise. It's about cultivating those qualities of peace, compassion, and righteousness within ourselves right now.
Exactly. Every good deed we perform, every act of kindness we extend, every effort we make to purify our hearts and minds, it's all a step closer to the eternal bliss of paradise. It's about recognizing that our actions in this world have eternal consequences and striving to live in a way that aligns with our ultimate aspiration.
It's incredible how the concept of paradise isn't just about a distant reward, but a driving force for personal growth and ethical living in our present lives.
You've hit upon a key principle of Islam. Striving for paradise motivates us to embody virtues like compassion, generosity, and justice, not just for a future reward, but because these actions create a more meaningful and fulfilling life here and now.
It's like building a bridge between our earthly existence and the eternal bliss of the hereafter.
Right.
But how exactly do we go about building that bridge? Where do we even begin?
Surah Al-Baqarah offers a powerful roadmap for that journey, and it all starts with the pursuit of knowledge.
Okay.
The Quran repeatedly emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge, almost as a foundation for everything else.
Right.
In fact, the very first word revealed in the Quran was Iqra, which means read.
That's a powerful starting point. So it's not about blindly following rules, but understanding the why behind them, the wisdom that underpins our faith.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Quran encourages us to question, to ponder, to delve deeper into the mysteries of creation and the divine will. The more we understand about God's design, the more we appreciate his infinite wisdom and power.
Okay.
This deepens our connection with the divine and strengthens our faith.
It's like that saying, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
It sparks a lifelong journey of learning and discovery.
Precisely, and that journey shouldn't be limited to religious knowledge.
Right.
The Quran urges us to seek knowledge in all fields.
Okay.
Science, medicine, art, history, everything.
Wow.
It's about expanding our horizons, enriching our understanding of the world, and using that knowledge to benefit ourselves and others.
I love how Islam embraces this holistic approach to knowledge. It's about becoming well-rounded individuals who contribute positively to society.
Absolutely. And contributing positively is another key theme that emerges from Surah Al-Baqarah.
Okay.
The importance of action. It's not enough to simply possess knowledge or hold beliefs.
Yeah.
We need to translate them into tangible actions, into good deeds that reflect our understanding of Islamic principles.
So it's about putting our faith into practice, making it an active force in our lives and in the world around us.
Exactly. Throughout the surah, we see a constant emphasis on good deeds. Charity, kindness to parents, honesty in business dealings, standing up for justice. These are all actions that demonstrate a true understanding of Islamic teachings. They are the building blocks of a righteous life, both in this world and the next.
It's a reminder that our faith isn't just a set of beliefs, it's a way of life, a guide for ethical conduct and meaningful engagement with the world.
And that's where the concept of surrender comes in.
Surrender. What does that mean in the context of Islam?
In essence, it's about submitting our will to the will of God, trusting in His infinite wisdom and plan, even when we may not fully understand it.
So it's about letting go of our need for control, recognizing that there's a higher power guiding our lives.
Precisely. It's about acknowledging our limitations, recognizing our dependence on the divine, and accepting that God's plan is ultimately for our own good, even when it may seem challenging or difficult.
That can be a difficult concept for many people to grasp, especially in a society that often emphasizes individualism and self-reliance.
It's true, but surrendering to God's will doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up on our goals. It's about aligning our efforts with His guidance, seeking His help in overcoming challenges, and trusting that He will support us in achieving our full potential.
So it's about finding that balance between effort and acceptance, between striving for our goals and trusting in a higher plan.
Exactly, and that balance is beautifully reflected in the Islamic concept of prayer.
How does prayer tie into this idea of surrender?
Prayer is our direct line of communication with God. It's a time for us to express our gratitude, to seek His guidance, to confess our shortcomings, and to ask for His help in navigating the complexities of life. It's a humbling act, a recognition of our need for divine support and guidance.
So it's not just about reciting words, it's about forging a deeper connection with the divine, a relationship built on trust, humility, and surrender.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging our place in the grand scheme of creation, recognizing our dependence on our Creator, and seeking His help in navigating the challenges and triumphs of life.
This discussion has been so illuminating. It's amazing how these ancient teachings of the Quran can still provide such relevant guidance and inspiration in our modern world.
It's a testament to the timeless wisdom of the Quran. It speaks to the human heart regardless of time or place, offering insights into the nature of our existence, our purpose, and our relationship with the divine.
And it's filled with such practical advice. It's like a manual for living a meaningful and fulfilling life, both in this world and the next.
You're absolutely right. And that manual is always available to us, offering guidance and wisdom for every situation we may face. All we need to do is open our hearts and minds to its teachings and strive to apply them in our daily lives.
As we wrap up our exploration of Surah Al-Baqarah, what's the one key message you would want our listeners to take away from this discussion?
I think the most important takeaway is that Islam is more than just a set of beliefs or rituals. It's a way of life, a path to personal and spiritual growth that encompasses every aspect of our being.
It's about embracing the principles of knowledge, action, and surrender, and weaving them into the very fabric of our lives.
Exactly. It's about striving to become the best versions of ourselves, both for our own benefit and for the betterment of the world around us.
This has been such an enlightening journey through Surah Al-Baqarah. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been my pleasure. And don't forget to check out the Broke Entrepreneur channel for more resources on Islamic teachings and personal growth.
Remember, the Quran's wisdom is timeless. Apply it today